I knew something was wrong the moment the knocking came from outside my car, because the snowstorm had already erased the road behind me. It wasn't loud, just a dull, hollow sound. Knock, knock. I froze with my hands still on the steering wheel, breath caught halfway in my chest. No one should have been out there. The windshield was nothing but white. Snow slammed sideways, thick and endless, like the world had been scrubbed clean. The headlights barely reached 10 feet ahead, swallowed by swirling flakes. I told myself it was just ice hitting the door, wind, debris, but then it came again. Knock, knock, closer this time. My stomach tightened. I leaned forward, squinting through the glass, wiping a clear patch with my sleeve, even though the heater was already blasting. Nothing moved. No shape, no shadow, just white. I laughed once, quietly, forcing it out. My hands were shaking. Get it together, I muttered. I've been driving for hours, trying to beat the storm. The radio had cut out an hour ago, replaced with static and emergency tones that kept repeating the same warning. Roads closed, visibility near zero, shelter immediately. I thought I could make it. That was my first mistake. The knocking stopped, too. Suddenly, I sat there, listening to the engine idle, the soft kick of cooling metal, the howl of wind wrapping around the car like something alive. My breath fogged the glass again. Then I saw it. A shape passed through the headlights. Not fast, not slow, just deliberate. My heart slammed so hard it hurt. I craned my neck, trying to follow it, but the storm swallowed everything. I twisted in my seat, checking the mirrors. Nothing. I told myself it was a trick of light. Snow playing games with my eyes. Still, I locked the doors. Click, click. The sound felt loud in the silence. Minutes passed, maybe longer. Time felt wrong out there. The storm pressed in, heavy, endless. I checked my phone. No signal. Battery at 18%. I exhaled slowly, trying to calm down. I'd sit tight, wait for a plow, wait for daylight. I'd made winter drives before. This wasn't my first storm, but it was the first time I felt watched. I became aware of it slowly. The sensation crawled up my spine, subtle at first, like someone standing just behind you. It's close enough that you don't need to turn around to know. I stared straight ahead. The knocking returned. This time, it's on the window tap, tap, right beside my head. I jerked away with a sharp gasp, slamming my elbow into the center console. My heart pounded in my ears. I turned, slowly, terrified of what I might see. The passenger window was coated in frost and snow, but something had cleared a small circle, as if a hand had wiped it away. My mouth went dry. On the other side of the glass, inches from my face, was a silhouette, just a dark shape. No features, no movement. I couldn't see a face, but I knew it was looking at me. I whispered, "Hello?" My voice sounded weak, thin. The shape didn't move. The storm howled louder, rocking the car gently. Snow slid down the glass, trying to reclaim the clear patch. Then the shape leaned closer. The cleared circle grew, and I realized the frost wasn't melting from warmth. It was being scraped away from the outside. I pulled back, fumbling for the door handle on my side, my mind racing. Who was this? Why were they out here? Hadn't I seen footprints? When I noticed the height, the silhouette's head was level with the top of the window. Too tall. I stopped breathing. The tapping turned into pressure, a slow push against a slow push against the glass. I shouted then. I don't even remember what I said. My voice cracked, raw with panic. I slammed my palm against the horn, a sound blaring uselessly into the storm. The shape didn't react. It didn't flinch, didn't step back. It just stayed. Then it slid sideways out of view. I sat there, shaking, tears burning my eyes. scanning every window at once. My chest felt tight. I couldn't get enough air. I waited for footsteps. I waited for another knock. Nothing came. After a long moment, I laughed again. Harder this time, almost hysterical. "Just a person," I said. "Someone lost." Same. As me, I reached for the door handle and stopped because there were no footprints. Not near the passenger door. Not near the hood. Not anywhere around the car. The snow was smooth, untouched. My pulse thudded in my throat. I sat back slowly, hands trembling in my lap. That's when the car rocked. Once, as if something had leaned against the trunk. I screamed. The engine sputtered, then died. The headlights flickered and went out. Darkness swallowed everything. For a second, there was nothing but the sound of the storm. Then I heard breathing. Not mine. It came from the back seat. Slow, wet, right behind my ear. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. The breath paused. Then a voice whispered, calm and close, "You shouldn't have stopped." The dome light flicked on. The back seat was empty, but the frost on the rear window was gone. Scraped clean taut from the inside. I don't remember getting out of the car. I don't remember running. I only remember the snow closing in around me, the storm erasing my screams, and the certainty deep in my bones that whatever had followed me out there was never lost, and it knew the road better than I did. I realized I was in real danger when the snowstorm swallowed the roadside. Even though I was only a few feet away from it, 1 second it was there, green, reflective, familiar. The next second, it was gone, just white. I slowed the car to a crawl, my knuckles tight around the steering wheel, heart thudding louder than the wind battering the doors. Snow poured down so thick it felt solid, like I was driving into a wall instead of through air. I told myself to keep going. Stopping was worse. That's what they always say. The radio crackled, then cut to silence. No static this time, just dead air. The dashboard clock blinked once, twice, then reset to 12 o'clock. That made my stomach drop. I glanced at my phone. No signal. Battery low, of course. I laughed quietly, breath fogging the windshield. Perfect timing. The road narrowed without warning. Trees closed in on both sides, their branches heavy with snow, bending toward me like frozen arms. My headlights caught, shapes between them, shadows that shifted when I looked directly at them. I told myself it was just a storm. Then I saw the house. A single yellow light glowed ahead, faint but unmistakable. A square window, warm and steady, standing out against the endless white. Relief hit me so hard I almost cried. I hadn't seen another car, another building, anything, just that one light. I pulled off the road, its tires crunching over fresh snow, and stopped in front of the house. The engine idled roughly, like it didn't want to be there either. The place looked old, wooden, 2 stories with a sagging porch buried under snow. No tracks leading up to it. No car in the driveway, but the light was on. Someone was home. I stepped out into the storm, the wind immediately stealing my breath. Snow stung my face, filling my shoes, soaking my jeans. I hurried up the porch steps, my boots thudding loudly in the silence. Too loudly. I knocked. The sound felt wrong, flat, like knocking on something hollow. I waited. Nothing. I knocked again. It's harder. The door creaked open an inch. I froze, hand still. Raised, warm air spilled out, carrying the faint smell of dust and something old, like a closed room that hadn't been opened in years. "Hello?" I called. No answer. The door drifted open wider, pushed by the wind at my back. I stepped inside. The warmth hit immediately. Storm noise dropped away, replaced by a thick, heavy quiet. The house was dim, lit only by a single lamp in the living room. Everything was covered in a thin layer of dust. The furniture looked untouched. couch cushion stiff, a coffee cup on the table, empty and cracked. A coat hanging by the door, frozen in place, like someone had just stepped out of it, but no footprints. I closed the door behind me, shaking snow from my hair. The sound echoed through the house longer than it should have. I called out again, "Is anyone here?" My voice felt too loud. The lamp flickered. Just once, I walked further in, every step slow and cautious. Family photos lined the walls, their glass fogged with age. I paused, leaning closer to one. The faces were blurred, not from damage, from being scratched away. All of them, every single photo, had the faces removed. Rough, uneven marks gouged into the paper beneath the glass. My chest tightened. I stepped back, my heel bumping into something soft. I looked down. A trail of wet footprints stretched across the floor behind me, fresh, leading from the door to where I was standing. My breath caught. I hadn't been watching the floor. I hadn't felt anyone walk past me. The footprints didn't stop at my feet. They continued into the hallway. I turned slowly, my pulse roaring in my ears. The hallway was dark, the far end swallowed by shadow. Doors lined both sides, closed tight. The footprints vanished into the darkness, as if whoever made them had lifted off the floor. I told myself to leave, grab warmth, grab courage, then go. Instead, I followed. The hallway. The floor creaked under my weight, each step echoing. Halfway down, I noticed something else. The house was breathing, not literally, but the walls made a faint sound. It's like air moving through a chest, a slow rise and fall. The lamp behind me flickered again, then went out. Darkness rushed in. I stopped, moving, in the dark. The breathing sounded closer. Right in front of me, I whispered, "I don't want any trouble." The breathing stopped. Then came a soft laugh, not mocking, relieved. A door at the end of the hallway opened. Light spilled out, harsh and white, completely different from the warm lamp glow earlier. A figure stood in the doorway, backlit and featureless. "Come in," it said. The voice sounded normal, too normal. I shook my head, backing away. "I just need to leave." The figure tilted its head. "You already did." The hallway stretched. I blinked, confused. The door behind me was suddenly much farther away than it had been seconds ago. The walls felt closer, pressing in, the breathing returning. I ran, my feet slipped on the floorboards, my shoulders slamming into the wall. I reached the front door and yanked it open and stepped straight into the storm. The house was gone. No porch, no windows, no light, just open snow and trees bending in the wind. I stumbled back, heart hammering, spinning in place behind me. Nothing ahead of me through the storm. I saw another light further down the road, a house with one window glowing yellow identical. I don't know how long I stood there. Long enough to realize something worse than being lost. The light flickered as if it was waiting, and the footprints behind me were already filling with snow. The first thing that terrified me wasn't the storm. It was the voice calling my name from somewhere inside it. I stopped walking instantly. The snowstorm howled around me, wind screaming so loud it hurt my ears, yet that voice cut through it with impossible clarity. Familiar. Close, too close. I turned in a slow circle, my flashlight beam shaking as it sliced through the whiteout. Snow rushed past like static, erasing everything beyond a few feet. "Hello?" "Okay," I shouted, my voice ripped apart by the wind. No answer, just the storm again. I told myself my mind was playing tricks on me. Whiteouts do that. Panic does that. But I'd read about it before. People hear things, see things. That thought barely settled when the voice came again. This time, by me. "Don't stop." My chest tightened so hard it felt like my lungs forgot how to work. I spun around, heart hammering, flashlight sweeping wildly. There was nothing. Snow and the faint outline of the trail marker I had passed minutes ago. Except, it wasn't behind me anymore. It was ahead. I hadn't turned around. I knew I hadn't. My boots crunched as I forced myself forward, every instinct screaming at me to run, even though I knew running in a blizzard was how people disappeared. The wind pushed at my back, guiding me, almost helping. That scared me more than resistance ever could. My radio crackled at my chest. I grabbed it instantly. "Hello? This is Mark. I'm caught in the storm near the Ridge Trail. If anyone can hear me." Static swallowed my words. Then something else came through, breathing, slow, measured, not panicked, listening. "Who is this?" I whispered. The breathing stopped. For a moment, I felt stupid, embarrassed, alone. Then the radio clicked again. "We can see you." My legs went weak. I looked around, frantically, the flashlight trembling. "Where?" The radio stayed silent for a few seconds, long enough for hope to creep in. Then all around you. I yanked the radio off and threw it into the snow like it had burned me. The wind immediately buried it, erasing it like it had never existed. That's when I noticed the footprints. They weren't mine. They ran alongside the trail, perfectly parallel, same stride length, same pace, as if someone had been walking with me the entire time. I stopped. The footprints stopped. I took one slow step forward. "So, did they?" My throat went dry. "Who are you?" I asked the storm. The wind died down just enough for me to hear the answer. "You already know." The trail marker ahead came into view, a tall wooden post, half buried in snow. Relief surged through me. The ranger station wasn't far from there. I staggered toward it, heart pounding as I reached it. I froze. Carved into the wood were names, dozens of them, some deep and old, some fresh enough that the wood splinters still looked sharp at the bottom. My name, perfectly carved, clean, like it had been waiting. I backed away slowly, shaking my head. No, that's not possible. The storm softened again, like it was listening. Then I heard footsteps, not crunching, dragging slow circles around me. I turned, its flashlight flashing across shapes that never fully formed, shadows bending wrong. Too tall, too thin. They didn't step into the light. They didn't need to. Stay on the trail, a voice said gently. It sounded like my father. My stomach dropped. He had taught me that phrase years ago. Hiking advice. A warning. I swallowed hard. You're not him, the voice sighed. Disappointed. Double quotes, we keep them safe, it said. The storm takes the rest. The trail marker creaked as the wind returned, louder now, angrier. Snow stung my face, forcing my eyes half closed. That's when I realized the footprints weren't beside me anymore. They were in front of me, blocking the trail. I panicked. I ran. The whiteout erased direction instantly. Trees appeared and vanished. The ground dipped suddenly, my ankle twisting as I fell hard into the snow. My flashlight skidded away, disappearing. Darkness swallowed everything. I lay there, gasping, tears freezing on my cheeks. Then the voices started. Not one, many, whispering, begging, guiding. Come this way. You'll freeze there. We tried to warn you. Hands brushed my coat. Not gripping, guiding. I screamed and crawled blindly, clawing at snow and ice until my fingers went numb. I slammed into something solid. A wall, a door. I pounded on it with everything I had left. It opened. Warm light spilled out, blinding me. Someone grabbed my arms and dragged me inside. The door slammed shut behind us, cutting off the storm instantly. I collapsed onto the floor, sobbing, my body shaking uncontrollably. Rangers hovered over me, voices urgent and confused. You're lucky, one of them said. Another minute out there. I looked up, heart still racing. There were people, voices. They were guiding me. The room went quiet. The ranger exchanged a look with the others. Finally, he said, "You were walking away from the trail when we found you." Cold fear crawled up my spine. "No," I whispered. "They were leading me back." He shook his head slowly. "That storm. It doesn't guide people home." Stayed at the station until morning. When the storm cleared, they showed me something. Fresh. Tracks in the snow. Mine, and beside them, another set. Perfectly matching, leading straight into the whiteout, and never coming back.